Hey guys, I'm on my way to a neighborhood that's never been high on the list. In fact, I always thought it was overrated. Too many people, commercialized, so many franchises and way too expensive. But today I'm gonna give it another chance. Yes, because you guys voted on my Instagram that this neighborhood is the most Christmassy neighborhood of Seoul. Today I'm going to Myeong-dong. It's almost Christmas and that's why, so let's go.
Welcome to Myeong-dong. In this series I explore all 400 plus neighborhoods of Seoul. And today it's time for Seoul's famous Myeong-dong. Many have heard of this neighborhood, but how much do you really know? This two-part episode will discover Myeong-dong's past, mysteries and secrets. And I can tell you already, there's plenty.
Not sure if you can remember Yoko.
Oh, yeah,
He's
hi.
back. He appeared in the Myeongdong neighborhood video and now he's gonna do Myeongdong together with me on a very cold winter day.
Very cold. Yeah, we're going to see a bit of Myeongdong here, the square kilometre. But first I thought it's nice and warm to begin underground here at the Hwaehyun Underground Shopping Centre. And this is especially known for old record shops, stamp shops, postcard shops.
That's already something that I'm very interested in.
Myeongdong is a division of smaller dongs within 4 main roads. It's like an urban island. To get there, take the subway to Myeongdong Station, located in Chungmuro Ilga and Chungmuro Iga. Up north is Myeongdong Iga and Ilga, and west is Namdaemunro Iga. East is Chodong Ilga, and north at the other end is Ojiro Iga. Many tiny dongs. This area is what people mean by Myeongdong.
What is this? Is this money exchange?
So this is where you, no, it's not a money exchange, it's where you can buy old currency, historic currency from the 1960s, for example, North Korean money.
Hey,
Yeah, you're familiar with that?
I have this one.
And lots of stamps, old stamps.
I wasn't aware that a place like this still was in Myeongdong.
Aha.
I was just expecting all the franchise. I just said in the intro that there are only franchises in Myeongdong.
There's another stamp shop. Oh, and record players and speakers.
Is it allowed to sell North Korean money in South Korea?
Yeah. If you sell large quantities, that's illegal. But if you're selling single notes for souvenir purposes, that's okay.
아, 혹시 여기 제일 비싼 스탬프 뭐예요?
그거
너무 좋은 스탬프.
프레젠트 저 윤석열
이거 제일 비싼 건가요?
제일 비싼 건 아니고요. 3만 원 그냥
뭐가 제일 좋은 스탬프예요?
대통령이 이러면 이제 실인데요.
아,
크리스마스 실. 우리 저기 김구 선생님이 그 애국지사.
Now these are Christmas seals,
Christmas seal.
which means the money originally went to the anti-tuberculosis campaign.
5,000.
어,
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're not actually stamps, but you put them on the back of the envelope to seal them closed.
여기 오래 있었어요? 가게요?
아니요.
아니요?
네. 한 6년이에요.
아, 6년만. Ah.
He's a newcomer.
뉴커머야.
Yeah.
I still can't believe I find myself in Myeongdong. There must be a reason for all these shops to be here.
Hey,
West.
look at this. Coins of the Netherlands.
Oh, get out of here! Look at that.
Is that the gulden? Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah, 20 years, huh?
Dit is gaaf. Ik zou hem bijna zelf kopen. I would almost buy it myself. Until he start to speak Dutch. 만오천 원?
50,000 won. 궁금한 거 있는데 여기 회현 지하 상가에 뭐 우표, 화폐 가게 왜 이렇게 많아요?
여기 앞에는 한국은행, 여기는 중앙우체국 몰려 있어요. 그럼 한국은행과 중앙우체국이 있으니까 이제
네네.
자연스럽게 옛날부터
제 옛날부터.
네.
옛날이라면 뭐 60년대부터.
그 정도까지는 아니고 그때는 이제 먹고 살기 힘들었을 때는
아하.
아니고 70년대 후반부터 이제 가게 없이도 이런 걸 수집하시는 분들이 모여서 거래를 많이 했던
지하에서?
아니요 그냥 위에서
지상. 그럼 여기 지하 상가는 언제부터 있었어요? 혹시 아세요?
80년대
80년대.
It's difficult to explain, but something is fascinating about collectors.
Merry Christmas.
Nee, Merry Christmas.
Not only that, but the underground market also shows more than an image of Myeongdong franchises I had. And it's only the tip of the iceberg.
R. Kelly?
Not anymore, eh?
Not anymore.
This time is over.
We need to take a short dive into history to understand why it is what it is
We
today.
only saw maybe a quarter of this. I mean, it's huge.
It's huge, yeah.
And it connects underground to the Shinsegae department store.
But moving back up, we find ourselves in front of Goryeo Daeyeongak Tower, a building that carries a sad tragedy. It was once a hotel, and in 1971, a massive fire happened.
There was a big fire in this hotel that was here. It's not a hotel now, but it used to be. There was a huge fire. Some tens of people died. Some because the ladders of the fire trucks didn't extend all the way to the top. and the fire started down below and went up and up and up, and people were going higher and higher hoping to be rescued, but the fire trucks couldn't rescue them. So some people even jumped out of the windows holding onto a mattress, believing it might save them. It didn't, and they didn't tear the building down, they just converted it into an office block. And so the building still stands, completely renovated, and it's now the home of 6 or 7 embassies. Handjevol buitenlandse ambassades. Kroatië, Peru, Costa Rica, Senegal, Rode Kruis, Uruguay en Tanzania. Ja, allemaal in dit gebouw.
These little tidbits can connect you to a neighborhood. And if you look at the last 100 years of Myeongdong's history, you can see all the transformations this dong has experienced. Crazy if you ask me. Let's begin at the old entrance of Myeongdong, right on the other side from the Seoul department store, which started as a Japanese department store during the colonial period.
After the war, this became a Korean building, and then after the Korean War, for a while it was the US Army PX, so the US Army soldiers would go and do their shopping here. And then it became owned by Shinsegae.
Is this the original building?
Yeah, this is the original building. They've covered it, but it's the original building. This here used to be a beautiful red brick colonial central post office. I believe it was destroyed after the Korean War. We now have a very modern building that looks like maybe a zipper being opened or closed. This was the entrance to the Japanese area they called Honmachi. Myeongdong was known as Honmachi in the Japanese time.
This one, yep, shows Honmachi. Myeongdong was known as Honmachi during the Japanese time. It precisely shows the spot where Jaco and I are standing now.
This was the then entrance to Myeongdong. Then after the Korean War in the 1970s, this became a really hot place for pop culture. There were live bands and beer halls where you could watch rock bands play. So it was a really lively place. And in the last couple of decades, it's become an area of mainly shopping, a real mecca for tourists to come and do some shopping.
Not only was it a commercial district, but it also gradually became the financial district of Korea, hence the Bank of Korea. That changed when Yoido took over the role of financial capital in the late 70s.
This, unfortunately, it's no longer open, and it looks like somebody might be sleeping at it. This was one of the oldest coffee shops, tea houses here at Tabang, the Wangshil Tabang.
Oh yeah.
It was open. I'm told the building itself was even existing here during the Korean War. I went in there and I spoke to the ladies once when it was still a coffee shop a few years ago. They said to me, during the Korean War, it may actually have been a hospital. I'm not sure if they were accurate, but that's what they told me they'd heard. And then after the Korean War, this became a drinking place with illegal dancing. And so I read about in an old newspaper story of the 1960s where there was a raid, the police would come and they would raid the place where there was illegal, unlicensed dancing going on, and people were running out the back door and trying to escape from the police. So,
I can totally imagine it here.
and what really killed it, the business, was the ban on indoor smoking. When it was no longer allowed for old men to come here and play Go or chess and smoke while drinking coffee.
When did that happen?
In the last decade.
Okay.
In the last decade, it was illegal to smoke anywhere.
Yeah.
And so then they lost most of their customers.
When you talk about illegal dancing, are you talking about some kind of strip tent?
No. Not strip teasing. No. Dancing itself required a special license in Korea. So you could have a bar, you couldn't dance, and that was a separate license. And so and dancing after curfew was also an issue. So some places like this would close the front door and allow people to dance in secret, but occasionally the police would come and break open the place. Was the back door of that tabang I just showed you before with the arch door. This is the back door. They see the same sign, the Wangshil Tabang. It's a huge place inside. It's really big.
Wow.
And it's all one building, all connected.
So this is where you escaped
This is where
when the police
when there was
entered.
illegal dancing, you could run out this way.
Jaco, you went this way?
I won't tell. My secret.
This old dabang, now abandoned, is in the middle of something you could call Little Chinatown. It's not only interesting how this became a thing, but it also is complicated, so let's check it out.
We're going to go to the tiny, tiny, tiny Chinatown of Myeongdong.
I heard that, yeah. There's a
And
really
you might
tiny,
wonder, why is it so
Chinatown.
small? Because the Chinese embassy is in there, and the Chinese school is in there, and the old Chinese citizens meeting hall is in there, but the Chinatown is really, really minuscule. It's almost non-existent. So this alleyway, this is basically it.
This is it?
Yeah.
This
Now,
is
there
the...
were, in Myeongdong, there were originally many more Chinese people here. The Republic of China, now called Taiwan, had its embassy here, and the Chinese citizens, the Hwagyo meeting hall was here. So this was a real center for Chinese commerce. But after Korea normalized relations with Japan in 1965, the Korean government was worried that foreigners, particularly Japanese, would come in and buy Korean property. And so it became illegal in Korea for a foreign person, a non-Korean citizen, to own property. So any Chinese person who owned a building no longer was able to own the building, had to sell it or give it away to a Korean person. Some of them stayed, and the few who stayed still have some restaurants and businesses here, but many of them left.
So that big gate over there, is that the embassy?
That is the modern day People's Republic of China embassy. Look, the gate's opening right now. That's why you always see lots of police in front of it. It's very, very well secured, very well protected. Just next door to the People's Republic of China embassy is a Chinese school. My understanding is, and our viewers can correct us, this school and the Chinese embassy right next door do not have a good relationship with each other. Up until 1992, Korea had relations not with the People's Republic of China, but the Republic of China on that island of Formosa that we sometimes call Taiwan.
Right.
In 92, Korea changed its relations to the other China, to the big China, the mainland China, and so mainland China got the embassy. The school, however, still belongs to the Republic of China. This is a Taiwanese school. The teachers, the textbooks, the materials, the headmaster are all approved by Taiwan. And so the students who study here are not mainland Chinese, but Hwagyo, ethnic Chinese who have been here for generations, or Taiwanese, or anyone who wants to learn Mandarin but doesn't want to go to a People's Republic of China school, they go to this school.
That is
so they're
interesting.
still right next door to each other,
Yeah.
but they don't really talk to each other because they're from the other China.
Oh wow.
I mean, of course, there's only one China, but one China doesn't have a great relationship with itself all the time.
Yeah, we know the controversy and...
But look how long it's been here.
Yeah.
Since 1909.
In a noticeable white building with a white star was the Chinese Citizens Meeting Hall. Now it's nothing more than a coffee shop. Two in fact.
Look at this. Look at this.
Wow, it's so busy here, look.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't know it from outside. You still got the original roof beams up there.
And they all come here for the history, right?
Yeah, just like us.
Yeah, just like us.
Not because they're cold or want a coffee, but for the history.
So these are the original walls and rooftop.
Yeah, they should.
The world's smallest watch shops?
Look. That is the actual physical shop right there.
Oh!
Look at this tiny watch shop. Could it be the world's smallest watch shop? Next to the giant embassy gate? I love finding little Korean things like this. As much as history and politics are iGoBart material, you can add these things to the list too.
So I guess that was Little China then.
That was
Little China.
all of Little China plus a bit more.
So now we get to the point of what you expect from Myeongdong.
Right, so this is the wider street there, and in the middle of which is the old Myeongdong Theatre from the 1930s.
I'm looking forward to see that one.
That is very, very nice.
So this is basically a noisy, crowded street with...
Although, yeah, less noisy than it used to be, less crowded than it used to be.
A lot has changed since Corona. Jaco, are you too cool for school?
I'm always too cool for school. Yeah, can you film me?
I recently unlocked a new skill, finding rooftops for breathtaking views. Jaco and I found one in the UNESCO office building. And look at this, Myeongdong from above. And a picture of what we will explore in part 2 of this video. In part 2, a lot more Myeongdong secrets and history. I can't believe I started to love Myeongdong already. Only if you know a bit more can this magic happen. Welcome to my dome. Houdoe!